I wrote this song because I don't know how to knit. Now, I know you do.
Yes.
You knit. And I learned a lot of things from my mother, from ironing and cooking to, well, I certainly didn't learn them from my dad, the household chores, but I never learned how to knit. So when the woman who made me this sweater in 1970, who later became my wife, I wanted to give her a gift in return. And it was quite a few years later that I wrote the song. And ever since I've been singing it, people have been telling me stories about handmade gifts that have been given to them. And we all know how much they mean because of that extra ingredient that goes into something handmade or homemade. And one of the stories, I sang this for some friends in Fredonia, and the first time they heard it, my friend Dick Gilman said, I had a sweater. I went to Dartmouth, and I had my Dartmouth green sweater, and it was my favorite. I wore it all the time, and eventually, he was a geologist. He would wear it in the woods, and it got caught on this branch and caught on that branch, holes, and so he'd tuck the loose threads in, and eventually it got so bad that his wife said, you know, please don't wear that in public anymore. Let's keep it for camping. And, well, years later, he said this was really tough for a New Hampshire boy who holds on to things very tightly. He took it out to the garbage and tossed it in the garbage can and said goodbye to it. Well, unbeknownst to him, his daughter saw him do this, who was 13 or 14 at the time. She retrieved it. She mended the holes. She put leather patches on the elbows, and that was his Father's Day gift the following spring. So many stories like that, but here's the story of my sweater. Somebody made this old sweater from 6 or 7 big green balls of yarn. Look how it surrounds me and how it wraps around me, just like being hugged by loving arms. I don't know the name of the farmer. I don't suppose that I ever will. No, I never met him, but I can't forget him. He's the one who raised the sheep and sheared the wool. You know I love my old green sweater. I've worn it for years and it feels good as new. There's just one thing that warms me better, that's your love, that's you. Somebody made this old sweater. You can tell that it wasn't by machine, 'cause every stitch of every row was knitted nice and slow from some wool that was dyed so dark and green. Who took time to clean the fleece and then to card it? I don't suppose that I'll ever know. And who did all the spinning? That was only the beginning, before love was knitted into every row. You know I love my old green sweater. I've worn it for years and it feels good as new. There's just one thing that warms me better, that's your love, that's you. Some folks have drawers just jammed with sweaters, while other folks have none to keep them warm. Well, I have one that's got your touch, and that's why it means so much. And I'll wear it when it's mended or it's torn. Somebody made this old sweater from 6 or 7 big green balls of yarn. Look how it surrounds me and how it wraps around me, just like being hugged by loving arms. You know I love my old green sweater. I've worn it for years and it feels good as new. There's just one thing that warms me better, that's your love. That's you. That's the love that made the sweater. That's you.